Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, October 23, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a time for change call tonight at a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to cover a whole bunch of stuff. There's a lot of information being slung out there again. It's really confusing people. So we create our moods. Now, it does appear that maybe there's inferences that, well, it's because of this, or it's because of that, or this being over here, that being over here, or this circumstance or situation. But in actuality, we create our, but we create our own moods. We create bad mood, create good mood. It just depends on what direction or what has, that we've created. We create things that influence us. And when we comprehend this and we get it, you say, well then, let's say you were in a bad mood, and it doesn't have to be, you can just wake up in that frame of mind. But let's say this time, you would recognize that, okay, so some way, shape, or form, I created this bad mood. Now, I also can uncreate it by moving myself into a higher vibrational frequency. So I know that I am creating and perpetuating this bad mood, but I know it's not something outside of me that is responsible for my unhappiness. And ultimately, it all comes down to how you are responding. Are you seeing it as your teacher or your enemy? Most of us will look at it as the enemy, right? That's what will happen. Happiness is always about the lens we are looking through. Truly enjoying this life is about taking radical responsibility for the state you're in. Exploring what this negative experience is teaching you spiritually, and then finding out the fastest way to let it go. And once you can say, I'm the one creating this negative experience of my life, then half of the great battle is over, because you've identified it. Okay? And it's also moving towards freedom, is learning how to step back from whatever you're resisting, fighting, judging, or hating, and see that actually it is just a bunch of thoughts. That's it. Our problems ultimately boil down to ideas that are ultimately passing through the synapses of our brains. Whatever wrong thing we think is happening out there is always happening primarily inside our mind, in here. And the more resistance, judgment, and anger we've built up around this particular idea out there, the greater the joy you'll feel when you shift your relationship with it inside yourself and move on. The moment you learn, all of us, the moment we learn how to let go of being right about how horrible something or someone is, we discover how good it feels to be wrong. Life always provides the perfect climax at the end. And when we're in these negative or bumpy moods, it's returning to the source of who and what we spiritually are, which is the pure consciousness to God. Truly, who and what are we? We know we're not our name, or what others think of us, or just this physical body filled with meat, blood, and emotional bones. Perhaps there's a deeper spiritual aliveness that is real inside of us. If we believe that we are our thoughts, then ask yourself, who and what is watching and listening to them go by? There's got to be something there. The watcher is the real you. See, you're watching everything. You're in the body, you're watching. It's just like, you're driving a vehicle. The watcher is the real you. You are not any of these thoughts. None of us are. And getting overly identified with them, because we become too close to our thoughts. And the very moment we return to who and what we are, this pure consciousness, conscious witness, who abides at the very source of thought, then we are home free. And it's huge for us to relax fully into our body so that there is no tension hiding inside us anywhere. When we can fully relax inside, we become deeply aware beings again. It's easy to see how insignificant and fleeting thoughts actually are. Like a dragonfly cruising past you. You ever done that? And it's there 1 minute, next minute it's gone. That's quick. When our body is relaxed, we can see how fleeting each thought is and how easy it is to completely change them. And the more we can feel into the spiritual truth of who and what we are, we naturally pull back our attention to our real selves. It just feels good, so we naturally do it. Our spiritual nature takes care of us. And we can effortlessly enjoy this life, which means we have stopped dwelling on the negative. Our bad mood turns around, and we see the beauty in everything. We are grateful for life again, even for the opportunity to shift out of this negative space. We appreciate, love, and enjoy the simple experience of being alive. We understand that if we cannot see God in all, we cannot see God at all. Who's the God? You are within that body. Turn within and you will become free and liberated because it's all a dream, Robert Adams. You can really see, feel, what's going on with all of us on this planet. The root of our confusion is the lack of our spiritual awareness. The root of our confusion is the lack of spiritual awareness. And it gets confusing because when you're mired or steeped in a certain type of a method or programming process, you only have so much data and information. That's it. Yeah, you experience, you add to it through your own experiences. But the root of it is pretty much the same for everybody on this planet. Generation after generation, we're taught certain things. And then we will practice some of those, and then we add kind of our own flavor, as we go along, but the root is still the same. And how does that shift, or how do we change that? By going within. And the challenge is that the majority of us are so mired and steeped in the ego-mind process, the material-physical process, that we negate our spiritual. Not negative, it's just what we do. And this is why we have such a repetitive process over and over and over again as we incarnate into different lives. It's pretty much the same. The life's different, yeah. Probably have different parents, different interactions and people. But all in all, it's almost like turning the page and continue. It's a story that never ends. Now, do we know that? Not really, because we're so preoccupied. Look at all right now. Look at all of the stress, fear, anxiety that's just emanating here on the surface of the planet. The unknowns, right? The frustrations, the exasperations. And it's not like we're not purposely doing this to ourselves. It's out of habit. And you imagine the people out there that are completely asleep, where they're mired in this world and everything that is being played on screen. That they believe this. And that's why I'm always saying that it's all about you. It always has been. It's all about you. And the reason that is through the heart-mind, is that you get to know who and what you are. You begin to realize that you're the master and commander of everything in your life. And the question is always rising, one might say, that, yeah, but what about these things that come in that I have no clue about and where they came from? You created those. Might have been a fleeting thought, real swift one that you didn't even identify with, but you sent it out. And we create everything. There are surprises, see. We do that on purpose. It's like I said, we're not plain vanilla flavored, and none of us are. Even though with the body, some of us appear that way, plain vanilla flavored, right? No sprinkles on top, no hot fudge, just plain vanilla flavored. But that's just the body. And we create things all the time so that we can experience them in different ways. Now, you imagine somebody who's disconnected. That's the illusion of disconnection, but they're not connected to their source. They don't spend time with who and what they are in the body. All of their time is spent out there, interacting with others out there. That's when you see people who just don't know who and what they are. They don't know about themselves, right? And this is why we have so much separation and relationships and everything on the planet. The reason is because we don't know ourselves. And we're very hard on ourselves at times. We ridicule ourselves, which is totally unnecessary. And this is why I say every day in these meditations, be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times, and be in deep eternal gratitude, because these are countermeasures on the ego mind. when you decide for yourself to move into gratitude for no particular reason, okay? It's not, well, I better be grateful for this. It's automatic. You feel it in your heart-mind, not the head. And so as you feel it in the heart-mind, you go, I'm deeply grateful for this very moment I'm in. And you just let it go. And you can tell, I know that all of you can feel it, that this buzzing on the planet, right? And all of the created things that many are doing with themselves. And what is that? Well, the ego mind is worry, stress, fear, anxiety. You know, a lot of people feeling imprisoned, blocked, nowhere to turn, whether it be illnesses, emotionality, perspectives, situations. And here's where it gets real tricky. Why would we spend our energies focused on that stuff? Well, one reason is that it's deep-seated within us, so it's what we do. But it creates more of the same thing. Now, those of us who know this will say, I'm going to let that pass through me. I'm not interested in engaging in it, period. So it'll pass through you. And then you get in the habit of saying, I'm going to focus on this over here. I'm going to focus on this. This is positive, and I want to embrace the positivity here. I know the negatives there. I'm not a stranger to it. I'm not ignoring it. So I just let that pass through me. So I'm not turning my back on it and running from it. I just let it pass through me. And then over here, I'm focused on what? How I want to live, the life I want to live. That's what I'm focused on. I am an omnipotently supreme, powerful being that never dies, that currently is experiencing this body. So, and it's temporary. And everything around me is temporary. And I know this. So I make the most of this life. I enjoy it. Even in the middle of the worst storm you could ever possibly imagine, you're enjoying life. And this happens. It's like maybe it's been you or you've experienced with somebody that, and all kinds of things are going on, right? But you're basically in a comfort zone. You're not concerned about it. It just doesn't stick to you. You know it's there, you can glance at it. But you've come around with yourself to determine that you're the power, the God that you are. And all this stuff around us is created illusion for experience purposes only. That's all it is. And we're the ones that create it all. There's no thing over here, this out there, doing this or that. It's us. And once we can embrace that fully, then things begin to become crystal clear. We're not in a situation where we're confused anymore. We don't have these artificial walls around our hearts anymore. We begin to move in more and more into a consistent peace within ourselves. We have looked at all things and all parts of ourselves and have embraced them all. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. We have forgiven ourselves across the board. When something happens, okay, and you feel bad, right? Or you feel like, I shouldn't have done that. Forgive yourself for it. And it's not ego mind. See, ego mind is like, well, I'm going to do some damage and then I'm going to automatically forgive myself. That's ego mind. Heart mind is that you just forgive yourself. That's it. For anything. It doesn't have to be huge. It could be little small things that just kind of pick at you. And you could just say, I forgive myself and let this stuff go. Give it to the universe. And you do know that when you shift your vibrational frequency, things happen, things change. They change immediately. You're not, remember, we're like magnets, electrified magnets. So we've got this huge, magnificent ocean of energy. And all of us are that energy. And we can move, form. There's no limitations. It's not out there, it's in here. It always has been. And most of us believe it's out there. Who is your number one idol? Your answer should be the God that you are within that body. If you want to worship something, worship the God that you are. And we're not talking about narcissism, or we're not talking about that. That's ego mind. Talk about heart mind in this. Truly, deeply, eternally love you. Period. Because when that starts to happen, you embrace you, who and what you are, and you love you deeply, then everything begins to shift. When you watch things or observe things, it's not the same anymore. All this stuff happening on the planet, right? More so than ever been before. And you know that it's temporary. That it will extinguish itself. Which, that's what happens. And all of us have received a wealth of experience from it all. Unfortunately, some people have become very cynical, very short-tempered, very uneasy with themselves. When you're uneasy with yourself, you're uneasy with everything else. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. And when you say to yourself, I don't really care to be in this emotionality, so therefore I'm going to focus on gratitude and kindness for myself, and I'm directing my energies to the life I want. Okay? And you add 100% confidence, 100% trust, and 100% faith in yourself and this universe. Unwavering faith, unwavering trust, and unwavering confidence through the heart mind. It's easy to step in there, isn't it? It's real easy to just fall in it. Because it's been our influence for a very, very, very long time. But then you get to the point where you say, I'm not going to step in it anymore. You know what it is? I've had thousands of lifetimes to experience different sorts of things. Now, I truly want to experience and discover who and what I am in this body, and to be at peace and enjoy my life without all the conflicts of yesterday and tomorrow, which is where the ego mind exists. When you become fully the master and commander of your thoughts, your ego mind, and you operate 100% through your heart mind, you'll be at peace and bliss 24/7. Won't be any conflict. Won't be any anger. Right? We've had enough of that for thousands of lifetimes. We don't need to keep experiencing it over and over and over again. We can ask any one of ourselves, do you know what anger is? And we'll be like, that. Well, no, yeah, I know what anger is. Do you know what a hate is? Yes, I know what hate is. You know what love is? You know what happiness is? You know what truth is? Yes. Why would we keep experiencing that over and over again? See, we wouldn't, would we? Oh, each life is a little different here and there, surroundings and people and things. So it makes it interesting for us. And then we, that body exhausts itself and we leave. And then we say, well, I'll do it. I'll do again. This time I want, parents like this, and I want this and this and that. And so we kind of design it, and then we go in. But see, as we go in, our memories are nullified. This is why we're so in the dark about so many things. Okay? And the planet's been set up that way to reinforce that. So you don't remember. You have no memory of past life. Believe it or not, you're living a future life, like thousands of years in the future, that you haven't seen yet. That becomes a little sticky when you can actually view your future lives. Okay? You can see the responsibility there. Or you begin to review all of your past lives. And see, this is why we have this space, right, of amnesia, so that we can learn and experience to move within and abide in the heart-mind. Once we've done that, we can then view past lives without judgment. Without judgment on ourselves or others. We will have amnesia as long as we have not discovered who and what we are, and we have embraced the heart-mind. Say, we've made peace with ourselves, we have forgiven ourselves, and we've come to really love ourselves deeply. The amnesia thing is there for a specific reason. Oh, yeah, there are controllers of the quadrant of the galaxy and things go on here and there. But when you don't know you're supremely powerful, it's a whole different experience. But when you know you're supremely powerful, it's to a certain extent, you can basically shift what you want. Peel over here, peel over there. You can shift what you want. Almost and almost immediately. So you're in the quiet time of this meditation, as you have relaxed into your body, you're in a comfortable position. You have no outside interference. And you're as still as a statue, and you're focused on your breath rising and falling. Give yourself, through the quiet time, a complete hug through the whole time in this quiet time, this meditation. I mean a full body hug. Hug yourself. Feel it. Feel the God within you. Feel the pure consciousness of who and what you are. This is the best time and the only time you can really do that completely. And all of us need that. It's very therapeutic and very healing. Deeply so. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Be gentle, focus on your breath, rising and falling, still as a statue. How you treat others shows others how to best treat you. Be ever so gentle, forgiving, and patient with everyone you meet today, as if they were all once little babies in need of love. Who knows? Maybe they were, and maybe you were, or still are. Only you know how to best take care of that little one inside of you. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here tonight for the time for change call a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, and Thursday, October 24, 2024, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Excuse me, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, Thursday. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest, high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on out there or in here, open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.